Also joining me this evening, Carly Fiorina, who has been down this road, 2016 presidential candidate, former CEO of Hewlett-Packard, and author of the really good new book called Find Your Way, which I highly recommend. I'm still trying to find my way. Carly, good to see you tonight. Thank you very much. We all, exactly, work in progress. So, what do you think about that? What do you think about the relitigation of this Anita Hill thing? And what does it say about Joe Biden or where we are right now in politics?
Well, I do think it says that Joe Biden has to get through a primary in the Democratic Party. Yeah. And the Democratic Party is just moving further and further and further and further to the left. But let's take it outside of politics for just one moment. There is real abuse that goes on. Yeah. Matt Lauer, other people in this town, Harvey Weinstein, other people in Tinseltown, the gymnastics coach, there's real assault and real abuse. And this kind of thing diminishes all of that. I'm sorry. Relitigating Anita Hill, that was litigated. And Clarence Thomas is a Supreme Court justice. Brett Kavanaugh was litigated, and he's a Supreme Court justice. Putting someone's shoulders in a work environment, honestly, it happens all the time. And things that may make women uncomfortable doesn't make a man bad. It maybe makes them thoughtless or clueless or careless, but not a bad man. But
I mean,
meantime, there's real abuse and assault.
Being more considerate and being more aware, which he says he wants to do. But you make a great point about the real abuse that goes on out there and how these things sort of become a magnet for discussion. There was an interesting piece today by Selena Zito, who wrote about the importance of the union backing that Joe Biden has received so far, because some people have poo-pooed it and said, that's the old style of running. But what these union leaders were saying to her in Pennsylvania is, we don't like the fact that the party is going so far left. And that's why we came out so early in favor of Joe Biden. The president says, that the membership's with him, and the leadership is with Biden.
Well, here's the thing. Here's why the union backing is powerful. Because unions have a powerful organizing mechanism. They get their people out to vote. And so Trump shouldn't dismiss that. The other Democratic candidates shouldn't dismiss that. You will recall Hillary Clinton worked really hard to get union backing and didn't get all the unions to back her because they weren't with her.
They were comfortable with her, and they say that.
Yeah. So I think it's actually significant that he does have this backing.
Yeah. Let's take a listen to this, Joe Biden on Medicare at a rally that he was at yesterday, because this is a big fighting ground for the Democratic Party in deciding who they are and what they support. Watch this.
Whether you're covering it through your employer or on your own or not, you all should have a choice to be able to buy into a public option plan for Medicare. Your choice. And if the insurance company isn't doing the right thing by you, you should have another choice.
Is that politically the right place to be in for him?
Well, I think it, for most Americans, makes a heck of a lot more sense to say, my gosh, how long have we been arguing about health care? But what he's saying is, okay, you can have a choice. I was speaking with a left-leaning person today, and they said, well, health care is a right. I said, yes, but if the Democrat Party or Bernie Sanders or their nominee continue to say the policy is the end of private insurance and a big government program that's going to cover absolutely everybody, I'm sorry, that's a losing game. That's a losing game. So I think Biden's trying to thread the needle, but he has his left flank of his party.
So another guy who's gotten a lot of attention is Pete Buttigieg, and he was asked on The Daily Show last night if he, felt that he was benefiting from white male privilege in this very broad group that has a lot of women in it, has people of color in it. Take a look at what he had to say about that.
And I do think it's simply harder for candidates of color or for female candidates, and I'm very mindful of that.
Is that sort of the language that everyone needs to speak these days?
Well, in this case, I think he's right. I think it is harder when you're different. That's not a political comment. When you're different, it's different. So I think it is different for women, and I think it is different for people of color. And I think things have been done in a certain way for a really long time. So I agree with him on that. However, it's a big step to go from that acknowledgement of reality to, gee, because you're a white man, you're a bad person, or you shouldn't get this job, or you're not qualified. That's a bridge too far.
All right, we're looking at live shots in Venezuela tonight where things are getting very agitated on the street. This is actually some pictures from earlier this evening. We're going to get the live shot back up as well. You know, what do you think that the White House response should be to this? If you were president, what would you do?
Well, I actually think that the administration has handled this very well. I think they were clear in coming out and backing the legislature and Guaido. I think that early action caused the rest of the world to follow suit. I think that unanimity around the world was very important. I think it is a demonstration once again that Russia is not our friend, that Cuba is not our friend. However, I also think now we're at a very delicate point, because you will recall how long the Obama administration and the rest of the world called for Bashar al-Assad to go. He must go, he must go, he must go, and he didn't go. And so I think now we're at the point where the United States has provided all of the support that it can, and we need to see what the Venezuelan people do, and what the Venezuelan military do.
If they need our support?
I think that is a very serious move with major repercussions. And so I would be very thoughtful and very careful about that.
Carly Fiorina, great to see you. Thank you very much.
Nice to see you.
Good to have you on tonight.